Make sure you disconnect the battery. I disconnected the positive and the ground. This is the firewall. This is where we're going to be pushing our switch through right here. Here's our wire harness. Here's the positive and negative leads here. There's the fuse. Here is the relay. Further up, you'll see the connectors and also the switch. You can get a switch that will fit the stock rectangular housing on the dash if you'd like. I'm going to be using a Switch Pros unit for my installation. Alright, so back at the firewall, you can simply push the switch through into the cab area, and then you'll go into the cab and pull the switch through. I bundled up the switch wire here to keep it out of the way. Now I need a spot for my relay. So here is a Rago Fabrication relay holder. It holds 3 relays. You can find it on their website here. It's very easy to install. It uses the stock holes as you can see here, and it comes with 2 screws. So you simply just add it to the holes that are right there. And you just slide the relay on for a nice clean look. Here are the connectors. You'll need to remove the sheath of the wire that has the connectors, and you'll need to rewrap it with electrical tape or heat shrink tubing depending on which method you use up ahead. Right now I'm going to wrap it as method 1. So this is how the wire is going to be ran from the engine bay up to the light bar. It'll run along the pillar here inside the channel. That's why you need to remove the sheath from the stock harness cable and add electrical tape so that it'll fit in that little channel. So this is method 1 where I use the connectors. This method will allow for an easier switch of the light bar. If you decide you wanted to do a different light bar down the road, you can disconnect these connectors easily and remove the bar without disrupting your wiring too much. So to add the connectors, you'll strip the wiring down and place the connector over the stripped wire and clamp it down. And you'll do that with both positive and negative leads. Basically, we'll do that for all 4 wires. The wire harness already comes with connectors on it, or you can just switch those out if you'd like, if you think they're too big. It's crucial that you insulate each connection separately before taping together so that the positive and negative leads don't make contact, causing a short and blowing a fuse. You need to properly insulate each connection separately from each other and then wrap them together. You also need to make sure that that wire is on the inside of the bracket and not on the outside of the bracket. Here you can use a trim panel tool to help you tuck the wire down into the channel a little bit better. this little piece in the corner here can easily pop out of place here so that you can get the wire down underneath the hood a little bit better. Alright, here it is all done. Method 1, using the electrical tape all the way up the wire and connectors, connecting the wire to the LED bar. The wire is still pretty well hidden here. Alright, for method 2, I'm not using the connectors. I'm going to actually solder the connections together and then heat shrink everything at the end. I was able to use a heat gun and soldering iron by using the outlet in the back of the truck. So here I cut all the connectors off from the bar and from the harness. And then I also need to remove the electrical tape that I previously added for method 1. You'll need to slide a few of these heat shrinks before making the connection. I used about 4 of these tubes. You only need enough to go inside of the engine bay. So I put about 4 of those tubes on. I cut a small heat shrink for the base of the light bar wire. So you'll put that on over your harness wire. You also need to put a tube over each individual connection beforehand so that you can slide it over the soldered connection and then heat shrink it. You kind of have to plan ahead with this here. You need to put on all of your tubes first before you make the connection. Twist the wire connections together and then lightly coat with solder. Make sure the harness wire stays on the inside of the bracket, otherwise you'll have to pull everything out of the engine bay and feed it through the bracket hole. The wire needs to be on the inside, not the outside. Again, you'll twist the connection and apply another light coat of solder. Test out the operation before you heat shrink everything up. Make sure everything works properly. Slide the wide section onto the base of the bar wire. Then slide each individual tube over each connection and into the base. Make sure they are seated firmly into the wide tube. In retrospect, I probably should have put another wide tube on so that I could have covered everything at the end, but that's what I thought this last tube was going to do, but it was just a little bit too small. Apply the heat shrink to the tubing. It doesn't take too much, so be careful not to burn anything. And then you'll slide the next tube up to cover this area and then shrink it also. And you'll repeat that steps all the way up until you get down to the engine bay. So as you can see here now that the wire is nice and firm, it's heat shrunk, it's soldered, it's not going anywhere. It's completely reliable and weatherproof, and it's virtually invisible. You really have to look for it to try to see it. I'm very happy with the outcome. This was my first time wiring a bar in such a manner. Thanks to Rago Fabrication for all that they've done for me and providing me with excellent customer service and products to outfit my truck with. You can get these brackets and light bar at ragofabrication.com. I hope this video helps you install a light bar of your own, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Please like and subscribe and check me out at theronanchronicle.com.